Okay, here comes the box office top 10 this week. At 15, Sketch, which we reviewed on last week's program.
Yeah, and which, as I said, it was a strange thing because I had not known anything about it until you had mentioned it to me, and I think it's a really charming and interesting film, and it is for kids of all ages, but it has at its heart this kind of message, which is, the bad emotions, the things that you worry about, they have a purpose as well. And I thought it's just visually fun. You liked it, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Bakeroo on our YouTube channel, definitely worth watching. Imaginative, funny, and still has lots of heart without being too sentimental. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, good.
And someone who appears to be called KDCNDW1 on.
Okay.
What do we call you? Let's call you KD. Okay, KD, thank you. Good movie. It's surprisingly scary. So Angel Studios putting it out shouldn't detract folks. Now, most people would be blissfully unaware who's putting it out or anything. What's the Angel?
Well, no, I mean, I was blissfully unaware as well because over here it's co-releasing. But so Angel, I think this is in America. Angel are the people that distributed. Is it called Sound of Freedom? That ridiculous propagandist nonsense, QAnonery. Yeah.
Okay. Well, there's not a hint of that.
No, there isn't. It's not
in this. Number 11, number 20 in America is The Mastermind, which we were talking about last week. A new entry, Steve, on our Patreon, on our Patreon channel, on Patreon.
Yeah,
Steve
on Patreon.
I enjoyed it. Wasn't quite sure where it was going, but it was an enjoyable ride. It does meander a bit, and we had a couple of walkouts halfway through. It doesn't give you all the answers on a plate, makes you think, which is always a plus. Josh, this is Josh O'Connor, is wonderful as always. Don't think I've seen him in anything I didn't like. Anyway, that's The Mastermind number 11.
I mean, I thought it was really interesting. If you see this and you like it, do check out Kelly Reichardt's Night Moves, which is the previous Heist movie that she made. Because in both cases, what's really interesting is it's nominally a heist film, but Kelly Reichardt isn't interested in the heist, because the heist in this is they walk into an art gallery and into a museum and just take some paintings off the wall. What she's interested in is everything afterwards, and the fact that the characters are completely flawed and everything falls apart. And I do think it was funny that you said to Josh O'Connor, yet another film in which you're wearing an incredibly bedraggled suit. It looks like the same suit that he was wearing in the film.
A rough pair of boxers as well.
A rough pair of boxers, yeah. Wow.
Number 10 here, number 8 in Canada, is Roof Man,
which I enjoyed. I didn't know anything about the true story beforehand. It works largely because Channing Tatum is very, very charming. And it's perhaps not the film that you would expect from the director, but it is, it has got oodles of charm. It doesn't appear to have found a massive audience here, possibly because people don't know the story.
UK box office number 9, 5 in America is Tron Arise.
Yeah, Tron Arse, in its third week at number 9. So absolutely everything we predicted came true. Reviewing it, saying it's the worst film of the year. It will be number 1 next week, and it will be gone in 4 weeks. Well, yes, it will. And goodbye.
Number 19 over there, number 8 over here. Pets on a Train.
AKA Falcon Express, French animated feature with pets on a train going head-to-head with a vengeful badger and a raccoon. It's called the Falcon is the raccoon. Yeah, anyway, unremarkable.
Okay, number 7 here, number 7 there. One Battle After Another.
So this is now 5th week in the charts, and I mean, you and I have talked about this quite a lot. I keep having conversations with people about One Battle After Another. I really think it's one of the most exciting films of the year. I think Johnny Greenwood's score is brilliant. I think Paul Thomas Anderson once again proves that he has no interest in following any rule book whatsoever. Mm-hmm. The funny thing is, I had a conversation with somebody who said, I liked it, but I could have lived without the car chase. And it was like, no. You could have lived without the car chase? That is just absolute bliss, that car chase, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's terrific, and it provokes a physical reaction in you when it's that going over a bump in a car.
Yeah, you
go whoa! It's like being on a fairground ride. I think it's fantastic. Number 6 here, nowhere over there, is I Swear.
Yeah, I love this. I think this film is terrific, and I said at the time, I quoted Simon Brew's review, Simon Brew from Film Stories, who said that it's one of those films that might actually change somebody's life. It is a true story, and it does the great thing that cinema does about making you see the world from somebody else's perspective. and it's heartbreaking at times, and it's funny at times, and it's profoundly humanist, and I really, really love it.
I know we have mentioned this before, but profoundly humanist means
Yeah.
what in a movie?
I mean, it has a sort of a sublime attitude to humanity that does not involve religion, that it's about, it is a film that is to do with empathizing with human beings.
Okay. That's I Swear at number 6. Number 5 here, number 3 in America is The Black Phone 2.
Not as good as The Black Phone, but still has some interesting ideas in it. I mean, I did like The Black Phone and found it a lot creepier. The problem with Black Phone 2 for me is that it wasn't frightening. But then horror is like comedy. The things that make you scared and the things that make you laugh are different. I think it's fine. I don't want to see a Black Phone 3.
Gabby's Dollhouse, the movie, is at number 4 here, number 10 in America.
Well, I have it on very good authority from somebody who took their youngster who loves Gabby's Dollhouse, the TV show, to go and see the film. And my main question was, okay, in the cinema, in the bit when she turns to the audience and says, "Would you sing the song with me?" I said, "Did they?" He said, "Yes, they did." So it is doing exactly what it said on the tin. I spent most of it thinking, I have no idea what's going on. But actually, that's a phrase that's going to come up a lot in the next entry in the top 10.
Which is Chainsaw Man - the movie, colon, is it Rezark? Rezi?
I think it's Reze. I think it's Reze.
There's a lot going on in the title.
Yeah. Now, I know you have an email. It's blacked out on my script. So tell me what it says.
So it's from Dion Day.
Okay.
Animated films have been such a hit this year with the decent K-pop Demon Hunter and beautiful Nurture 2, but I did not expect Chainsaw Man to hit me hard. With beautiful animation, it is narratively rich with a story which in some ways is somewhat a coming-of-age story with twists and turns and very emotionally deep characters. While the film is very similar to Demon Slayer, in needing to watch the anime, the film rewards fans with a simple but emotional movie with complex characters and a beautiful score.
Yeah,
that's kind of like an AI summary of what Dion wrote.
Okay, well, look, here's what I would say. As I said when I was reviewing the film, I was completely lost because wasn't familiar with any of the previous series, so I didn't know where we were or anything about it at all. And it's interesting with the comparison with Demon Train, which actually I felt differently about because I did manage to have a handle on that. Nurture 2, again, these things it's going to happen increasingly that people are going to have to get up to speed. But I was very aware when I was reviewing Chainsaw Man that I just thought, I don't know what's going on. Somebody else wrote to me and said, I really hope you get a chance to see this because I think it's basically like a David Cronenberg film. Now, I did not think that at all. I thought that some of the visuals were arresting. I thought some of the visuals were creepy. I thought there was clearly a lot of stuff going on in it. But it is absolutely a case in which I think you have to know the source material, and I think, or the previous material. The difference between that and things like Mugen Train or whatever is, I felt that without knowing anything, I did manage to get up to speed, which I didn't with this. So what I'd say is, if you're in the world of Chainsaw Man, this is apparently a very fine film. If you're not, don't start from here because, well, it's the REM song, isn't it? Because you can't get there from here.
Number 2 here, number 2 there, Regretting You. Bruno Langley says, I'm regretting paying a babysitter so I could go and watch it. Anyway.
Well, we had fun talking about it. And I mean, it is bonkers. It's really bonkers. And based on, well, you know what you're going to get because when you look at the writer and the director, you go, okay, so it's Fault in Our Stars, and it's ends with us, and even when we were doing the plot synopsis, I had so many people say to me that your confusion at the plot synopsis, which I was trying to tell you about, was more entertaining than anything in the film. Okay. So I feel that something good came out of it. No, but it is absolutely confusing.
The UK number 1, which is 4 in America, is Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere. So can I
just say that, but before you do that answers a question, because at the end of my review, and you had seen it as well, I said, the thing is, I think it's really good. I just don't know how many people are going to be interested in watching a film about two guys fiddling around with a Tascam in a bedroom. Mm-hmm. Number 1.
Yeah, and here are a couple of really interesting emails. Fraser in Glasgow, fairly new listener, started this summer, and first time writer. In light of recent correspondence about how personal experiences shape our response to films like The Long Walk, I wanted to share how Deliver Me from Nowhere hit me in a similar way. I first heard Springsteen through my dad's endless plays of Born in the USA in the late 80s and early 90s. Sadly, that association soured the music for me. My father was, to put it mildly, a difficult man, and we've been estranged my entire adult life. Only recently have I started engaging with Springsteen's music on my own terms. As a professional musician, I've come to appreciate his deep love of the craft. Watching Deliver Me from Nowhere through that lens was tough. Jeremy Allen White's portrayal of Bruce as someone trying to repair the damage left by his father through songwriting or recreating a better family life really struck a chord. The film's moments of male tenderness felt like a quiet rebellion against toxic masculinity, and the phone call scene with John Landau like coming up for air. Having lost my brother to suicide last year, the film's message that art can be both refuge and release landed hard. Fraser in Glasgow. Thank you.
What a fantastic email.
Yes,
What a fantastic email.
and it embodies so much of what we've said for so long
Really
about
does. Really does.
you get out of it what you bring to it. And Dan Martin in Somerset. Simon and Mark, very long-time listener, first-time writer, yada, yada. That's his yada, yada, not mine, which would sound disrespectful. I've just stepped out of the beautiful Ambleside Cinema in the Lake District, and I feel the need to write to you about Springsteen, Deliver Me from Nowhere. It is one of the best films I've seen in a very, very long time, and I have urged all my music-loving friends to go and see it. I have warned them they may need handkerchiefs. It is a film about artistic integrity, about supporting a vision, a film about believing in friends, about a parent's love for their perfect children, and a parent's love their and how children love their imperfect parents, about depression, about redemption. It is so much more than a film about Springsteen, but it's also completely about him. It captures the same melancholia I've witnessed standing in a stadium full of fans who always cry when Bruce sings The River. It's also deeply humanistic, that word again, in its treatment of the artist and those closest to him. I found it profoundly moving. It's not Walk the Line or the Dylan film. It's not a conventional music biopic. It's much better. It's a small art house movie about a small album. I absolutely loved it. Keep up the good work. So, interesting.
I mean, both of those emails are terrific, and thank you for sharing those thoughts. I mean, I remember when you saw it and you said to me, it's not a pop biopic; it is a film about depression. And then you and I had a discussion about that. Obviously, it will appeal to the nerds in people, anyone who's actually interested in hearing somebody talking about spacing out the grooves and making them less deep in order to minimize the distortion that's come off the Tascam, which they can't get rid of. And it doesn't pass over that. I mean, there's a whole section which ends with everybody high-fiving after they finally figure out.
And you see the kit. You see the kit they use. Beautiful.
Which is great. The triumph of it for me is, as I said, I'm not a huge Springsteen fan, although I think it is significant that the first Springsteen album I liked was Nebraska, because my friend Duncan Cooper said to me, "You'll like this. It's not like previous Springsteen." And I had never understood the connection between Nebraska and Born in the USA. I thought of them as chalk and cheese. As I said, in the end, I think actually they are bread and butter. They are two sides of the same thing. Jeremy Allen White's performance, the more I think about that opening shot when you first see him doing Born to Run, I do think that that's the kind of quintessential version of everything we've ever said about physical acting. Is you go, yeah, no, that's right. Yeah, and you do the thing about you slightly squint and go, hang on, how that is Jeremy Allen White, isn't it? But how? Okay, so my question now would be this. I think that all the Bruce fans will go in the first week, which they have done, got it to number one. I don't know how it'll fare in coming weeks. I don't know whether there's enough interest in, because it's a very internal film. It's it's a film about somebody wrestling with depression by finding
like
salvation.
Nebraska.
Yeah, exactly. By finding someone through art. Because Nebraska, of course, as it says at the end of the film, I hadn't realized this, did actually do pretty well in the charts, considering that it wasn't what anybody expected. But it's very rewarding to hear people having those responses, and particularly that thing about it is about art as a redemptive force, which is obviously much bigger than the subject of whether or not you like Bruce Springsteen.
And as we mentioned last week, I love that central tension about the fact he's got all of these songs in his head at the same time, and they're recording all of those big, huge international hits, which came in later with Born in the USA, and the record company go, yeah, and John Lander go, yep, that's fantastic, and him saying no. I mean, he still wants to do them, obviously, but he wants to put them away and concentrate on this thing which is his obsession. But the fact that those songs all came at the same time is I think absolutely fascinating.
Reminded me of something which was, there's a thing in the book Final Cut, which is about the making of Heaven's Gate. And it's written by Stephen Buck, who was one of the producers at United Artists. And of course, Heaven's Gate famously sank United Artists. And he says that, it's an interesting point, he says that Woody Allen's Interiors was the first time he can remember a studio financing and releasing a movie because they thought it might be good for the director, not for anyone else. And there's an interesting thing about, I know in the film that the thing is that it gets released because basically his right hand, played by Jeremy Strong, won't let anything else happen. But there is that interesting idea about the record company putting out something that they clearly don't believe in and don't think will do any business whatsoever, but because you have to go through Nebraska in order for them to have Born in the USA.
That's right. And that great scene where Jeremy Strong is saying, yep, and he's not going to tour, and you can't even put his photograph
on the front cover.
on the cover. Okay. All right, very good. Okay, and it's number one here, number 4 in America.